Hi guys, I'm Emma and this is Art by Emma. So this week I've been thinking about putting a fairy door in my garden, and I've looked online and in a few shops and nothing's really taking my fancy, so I thought if I want something I'm going to have to make it myself. So my first thought was make it out of clay. So I've done some research on the internet and this was the clay that came out on top. It's an air dry clay, but I've also done some further reading and you can actually cook it or dry it faster in the oven. So this is what I'm going to be doing. So I've got some Play-Doh modelling tools which I'm hoping will do the trick. I'm not a clay artist or a potter, I'm just me, amateur, little Emma. So yeah, I'm going to try and fashion a little fairy door out of dust clay. So this is my clay, I've just got to open it, and my selection of what I've now been informed are cake decorating tools, but I'm sure they'll do just as good a job as Play-Doh or clay tools. So we're slicing into the packaging to open it up, and then I poke the clay just to see how squishy it is. So the first tool I'm using I'm calling my slicing tool to cut off the first chunk of clay from my creation. So I'm going to break this piece in half and try to fashion this into somewhat of a door shape. Now, looking back now, probably using a rolling pin would have helped, but I'm just squishing it out and smoothing it out with some water to fashion a fairy door shape, using my slicing tool as a smoothing tool now. It's really multi-purpose. My next tool selection I'm referring to as my scoring tool. I'm going to try and make some definition to show some planks making up my door. Seems to be doing a fairly good job. So toothpicks or cocktail sticks are not a traditional sculpting tool, but it's the only thing I could find after rummaging in my drawers that had a fine point on them. And as you can see, struggling to get into the bag with my slippery clay hands. I'm going to use this to give a little bit more definition to the planks, and then use the fine tip to give myself some wood grain effects. So yes, I think those planks are looking pretty defined now, and here's my attempt at wood grain. It seems to be a system of wavy lines and wood knots. No random order, just higgledy-piggledy. So that's one down, 3 more to go. Just working on the same wiggly lines and knots to get that wood grain effect on these planks. So yeah, I think that's looking okay, like quite woody. Just redefining some of those on the first plank. And the next thing we need to make is a doorstep. So I'm going to try and fashion and cut and design an oblong cuboid type shape. So I'm going to continue with the wavy line theme to make this look a bit woody. So to help this stick, I'm going to groove both surfaces and wet it down and just push it on and hope for the best, really. And here I am making a teeny tiny door handle for the fairies to come in and out of their little fairy door. This is about as intricate a work as my capabilities allow. But we're getting there. And now we're working on the door surround. I'm going to fashion some little bricklets and stick them around the door to make a door surround, make the door stand out. And by this point I feel like I'm working in a little elf brick factory. So I'm using this tool that's now officially called my grouting or pointing in tool to just give a nice smooth join between the door and the door surround. So we're nearly there with my brick manufacturing. It looks like the bricks are getting slightly bigger as I go along. So there's the construction of my fairy door complete. It's stayed together, held together well. I baked it in the oven or dried it in the oven. I put it in on the lowest setting for 25 minutes, turned it over another 25 minutes and then allowed it to cool in the oven. Now there's a few little rough edges on here, so I'm going to try and sand them off. Produces lots and lots of fine dust. It's a bit like plaster of Paris. Yay, so now we're at the painting stage, my favourite stage, where it all seems to come to life. So the first colour for the door, I'm going to try and make a light sage colour. Putting a bit of green, adding a bit of white. I think my white might be empty, nearly empty. I'm going to put a bit of blue. Spot of yellow. Let's mix it up, see what we've got. It's looking a bit dark. A little bit more white. It's lightening up nicely. Yep. Let's go with that. So I'm going to try the paint out on it first because I haven't primed this. But I'm hoping the clay will be porous enough to take the paint. Yep, that seems to be going on nice. So for the bricks, I'm going to try and make a stony grey type colour. I get through so much white paint, I think I'm going to have to fill in reinforcements in a minute. So there's just a normal grey colour. I'm going to add a bit of yellow to try and give it a bit more of a stone colour. Too yellow. So here I am bringing the white reinforcements in, a little bit more black, mixy, 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 not quite there, more white. I think I'm going to make a gallon of paint by the time I put this colour right. We're getting there. I think that's about right. Yep. So now I've got to paint all these elf-made bricks. Off camera I lightened up the green colour. It dried quite dark, so I added a bit more white and gave it a second coat, which I think looks a lot better. And here's me bringing in a nice metallic brass colour that I'm going to use to paint the door handle, because I think brass is quite a fairy-esque colour. Tiny little bit. And for this I'm going to be using my dotting tool, because it's quite a small area to paint and get into the nooks and crannies. I've mixed up a mid dark brown colour for the doorstep. Kind of looks like melted yummy milk chocolate. And now the top half of the door is dry, I can paint the sides of the bricks and get into all those little nooks and crannies. I'm going to use my dotting tool to get into all those areas where I might have splashed paint to, just to tidy it up. So on social media I've had a few comments about this project and the way I say this project, so here we go, here's the Mod Podge. So just checking that my brush isn't crunchy, as it usually is, and I'm going to liberally apply this all over. And I'm using the shiny Mod Podge this time to give the door a bit of a sheen. Just slap it all over, getting all the nooks and crannies. There it is, there's my finished little fairy door. I have to say I'm really proud of this, I'm really pleased with how it's turned out. It's a nice little fairy door. So all that's left to do is see if the fairies like it. Here she comes. Ooh, looks very nice. Yep, I think she approves. So if you like this video, please like and subscribe, and I'll see you next week. Bye!